For many thousands of people across Europe, this is the reality of the coronavirus. For many millions more, it means lockdown and the loss of their freedom of movement. And for many weeks, that's been the case in France. Now its president says it must stay that way a lot longer.
Dans le Grand Est, comme en Île-de-France,
hospitals are saturated. Everywhere in France and the French overseas territories, the system is under strain. And the epidemic is not yet under control, so we must continue our efforts and continue to respect the rules. The more they are respected, the more lives will be saved. That is why the strictest lockdown must continue until Monday, May the 11th.
But elsewhere, Monday meant a return to work after weeks in lockdown, as here in Madrid, because in this and a few other sectors of the economy, the toughest restrictions have been lifted. Some Spanish politicians say now is not the time to relax the vigilance, even to this small extent. And in most other regards, the existing lockdown will remain in place for much of the next 2 weeks. In Italy, a small number of stationery shops, bookshops and children's clothing stores can reopen from Tuesday, because here the number of new infections remains considerably lower than during the worst days last month. But as in Spain, the mortality rate remains high, a point Pope Francis referred to in his Easter Monday address at the Vatican.
During this Easter week, I would like to remember with closeness and affection all the countries strongly affected by the coronavirus, some with large numbers of infected and dead. In a special way, Italy, the United States, Spain, France. The list is long.
And many other countries are worried too. Latest figures from Russia show the infection and mortality rates are on a steep upward curve.
As we can see, the situation is changing almost every day. Unfortunately, it's not changing for the better. The number of infected people increases, and there are more severe cases as well. The upcoming weeks will largely be decisive. That means that all our actions, including prevention measures, should be optimised.
Here in Germany, the abundance of intensive care beds and wide-scale testing have helped to keep the mortality rate much lower than in much of the rest of Europe, which explains why some politicians now want to relax the restrictions here so as to reduce the economic damage as much as possible, because some projections suggest that in this quarter alone, the economy may shrink by almost 10%. If the lockdowns are to ease, we should get the first news of it on Wednesday, when Angela Merkel will discuss the problem with the prime ministers of the 16 German states. Dominic, Kane, Al Jazeera, Berlin.